I understand, like, the whole side of a Phoenix Suns fans of that's all we got. We didn't get one of the young players. How did you not get Tari Eason, Cam Whitmore, Şengün? Like, you can say certain guys are untouchable. Jabari, they didn't get any of them.
Yeah.
Jalen Green, yeah, good luck. Wingstop guy, we've seen it. He scores 25 in a game, and then he'll score 7. Dylan Brooks, he's going to get a lot of technicals. He'll have some good moments, but he won't lead us.
Sure.
The 10th pick, I don't know what that's going to be. We'll have to wait till Wednesday to see that.
It might impact us because it's right before we pick.
But Oklahoma City had their bucket getter win the title. Houston, really good team. Really good young talent, thinks they got their bucket getter in KD.
Yeah, it's interesting. I actually viewed this as the rare, like you always have to come out with a take. Who won the trade? Who got the better return? This to me was a rare win-win. Maybe Phoenix fan is having that thought. You're dealing with an aging star who was very selective about where he was willing to sign an extension. All the intel by the end of last week said that he didn't want to go to Minnesota, and so Minnesota's not going to trade for him unless he guarantees that he's going to sign the deal. He's got 1 year left on his contract, man. You're not getting a huge package for a guy who might walk in free agency after 1 year. So it's not worth the risk for some of these teams. I just don't, because why would, if I'm Minnesota, why am I gambling on everything for 1 season of Kevin Durant and then he leaves in free agency?
Worked out for Toronto.
It did work out for Toronto, and Kevin Durant tearing his Achilles also helped mightily in winning that championship, and Klay Thompson tearing his ACL also helped mightily in winning that championship.
But if you look at what they had to give up to get him, I didn't think they were going to have to give up a whole, the whole roster to get.
Can you beat this package, the 10th pick, and the Jalen Green
I don't know
stuff,
if you can beat. I don't know if you can beat the package, but Ant Edwards and Kevin Durant on the court at the same time.
I would have loved to have seen it.
Julius Randle.
It was a team I wanted him to go play for. Yeah. I desperately wanted him to go to Minnesota because it would have been a lot of fun to see him with Ant Edwards. But I just, as an organization, sure, you might be willing to take that gamble. But if there's another package out there that's better than what you can offer up.
The Thunder did this with Paul George. It ended up working out. He ended up signing with them.
He did. Sometimes it works. The Pacers did it, and I don't know if they had an agreement behind the scenes with Pascal Siakam, and he ended up signing the extension.
I think there was a
wink
and a nod there.
Might have been. But Kevin Durant is very adamant, at least according to sources, if you believe him, that he wasn't going to resign in certain places, and he basically wanted to go to San Antonio or Houston.
It was Houston and Miami, according to Shams. Once
Miami
this came
stuff
out.
is so stupid. I think it's a little disrespectful to Jalen Green to act like look. I understand he had his ups and downs. He had his hot and cold nights. He had good games and bad games. He's also only 22 years old. He averaged 21 a game this year. Like, he might not be the kind of player that you can build a team around, but he doesn't have to necessarily be in Phoenix. He's going to be the number 2 scoring option next to Devin Booker.
Well, how's that going to work with Booker?
I don't know, but to me, I like the fit better than asking him to be a number 1 guy and a number 1 option, and so I viewed this as a win-win. Phoenix gets a top 10 pick in the draft this year. The second-round picks are whatever. You get Jalen Green, who's a young player. You can figure out if it will work with Devin Booker. And for Houston, they clearly didn't have enough offense to win a championship, and they clearly wanted to build the team around somebody other than Jalen Green, and they were able to hold on to all their other young players. And so I didn't think the return was going to be astronomical for Phoenix. I thought they did decent. And for Houston, now they look in the Western Conference like one of the teams to beat.
Yeah, if I was Phoenix, we were doing a Phoenix-based show, I would be upset that we didn't get one of the young guys.
Does Jalen Green not count as a young guy, though, at 22?
I mean, he does, yes. By age, absolutely. You're right there.
Where would he have been ranked as a Houston young player last year?
I guess what I'm asking is, what is his ceiling?
I have no idea.
Is this his ceiling? Is he
it better
just
than Cam Whitmore's, though? Or Tari Eason?
I don't know. I don't know. I think Tari Eason is better defensively.
Okay.
That kind of has to matter. You got a bucket getter and Devin Booker on the team. Again, I don't know how the basketball is going to be shared.
I mean, Tari Eason's older. I mean, he might end up being a better player, but I do feel like Jalen Green's getting a little disrespected in this.
Oh, I don't. I think Jalen Green is what Jalen Green is. I just don't know how him and Booker are going to coexist.
Yeah.
And I think that's a pretty big deal. The 10th pick, that's fine. I didn't expect a whole draft haul for Kevin Durant at this point of his career. He's 37 years old.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think from the Houston side, it makes a ton of sense. Because even if KD misses games at his age, that team, because they didn't have to give up all their young dudes, like that team can still float water and be totally in the conversation, especially if Amen Thompson takes a step.
That's who they want to build the team around.
If Şengün takes a step, and I'm going to love Şengün, I think, on the court with Kevin Durant, their coach is going to hold everybody accountable. He will fight Kevin Durant if he allows that locker room to get out of hand.
Yeah.
That's the kind of coach Ime is. So I really like this for Houston. It was the one thing they were missing last year, and it was the one thing everybody's worried and why people picked Golden State to win. They didn't have a guy that at the end of the game could create and get his own shot. They've got that now.
Yes, they do.
I don't think Kevin Durant is the leader of that team. I don't think he's a leader, period. And I'm not even saying they're going to win the championship or the West, but I think they're definitely in the conversation of could get to the West Finals.
Yeah.
If you make that kind of move, I have to like it. Phoenix, I don't know what Phoenix is doing. Maybe they'll make a good pick at 10 and they'll be able to rebuild this thing on the fly, but sometimes that can be difficult. I don't hate Jalen Green. I just don't know if I like that fit at all with Devin Booker. I would have wanted somebody else. I like Dylan Brooks. He can be a fine guy to have in your rotation on defense and on the court. I don't know. I think I like it for Houston a little more.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin Durant's the best player in the trade, so I don't blame you at all for that.
Yeah, well, hot take.
Hot take. Kevin Durant's going to help Houston next year.
It is a draft week. Are our Blazers going to be involved in a trade at all? Or are they just going to draft at 11 and sign Ant Simons? And
Probably. I mean, we've been through a lot of off
Call it
seasons,
good?
and that's usually how we go. It's, hey, big fireworks are coming. Here's a sparkler.
Well, they promised us the busiest summer of all time.
It's going to be a super busy summer, man.
But now it doesn't appear Giannis is leaving.
No, it does not.
So who's next? Everybody
Kevin
else
Durant
is
already
hurt.
got dealt. Everybody else is banged up. I don't know. Boston might make some moves at some point.
Maybe.
Maybe they
or they
deal
run it
some
back and
guys.
say, Jalen, let's see what you got. You're the guy. And
We'll pay the luxury tax. What the hell?
yeah, I don't know.